Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching this out there on the World Wide Web. This is Jeremy Geelan for SYS-CON TV. We are here at 8th Cloud Expo. That's Cloud Expo New York. As you can see, we must be with one of the more learned members of the cloud community, because has he or has he not written the book in my hand, Andi Mann, CA Technologies, Visible Ops, Private Cloud, from virtualization to private cloud in 4 practical steps, Andy. Congratulations on this, and thank you for joining us.
Oh, thanks very much, Jeremy. Pleasure to be here.
Well, it's probably the biggest cloud expo that anybody's ever seen. What's been your experience so far?
Oh, look, it's phenomenal. We were talking the other day, the last time I came to Cloud Expo was a couple of years ago, much smaller event. I came here and it's full, it's alive, it's buzzing. There's some really good information. I'm meeting a lot of interesting people. I'm learning a whole lot from a lot of people. I'm helping a lot of people. I mean, I'm really enjoying it. It's phenomenal.
Well, of course, we're riding on the coattails, aren't we, of a real technology boom. And let's talk about that. I mean, you've been very good, I think, in your sessions at just putting left, front and center business value. Business is what we all as technologists need to be driving. So thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. I mean, it's very easy because I'm a technologist myself. I love technology. It's very easy to get tucked into the technology and forget why we're doing it. We're doing it to make business better, to make it faster, more agile, to save money. A lot of reasons. It's not just about the technology. We love it because it's technology, but we've got to do it because of the business.
So I think you made the point very nicely, that therefore that's why it's growing. So look, guys, let's not forget that, not lose sight of that, and keep this trajectory, keep this momentum. Let's keep delivering value to the organization.
Yeah, because I mean that's why you've got to have a strategic approach to this. You know, a lot of people will have a tactical approach. We saw that with virtualization to start with. A lot of people had a tactical approach, and they got past consolidation. They got to a hump that they couldn't get over because they didn't have this long-term strategic view. And cloud's got to be a strategy. It's not just a technology. It's a change in operational model. It's a change in your business model. You know, it's change in the way you do business, not just the way you deliver service.
Let me try something out here. This is one of those statistical morasses, but let's run it up the flagpole, see who salutes it. CA Technologies, huge number of customers, therefore huge prism through which I can piggyback and view cloud computing. You were hearing knocked around in some of the sessions yesterday. This is like the virtualization thing all over again. Let's not forget that for all this cloud boom, probably we're not past 5% of the world's organizations have got anything cloudy going on at all. Thinking globally. If that's true, this is even bigger than we understand, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, with CA Technologies, our customers are large customers, and a lot of them are risk averse. We have a lot of customers in healthcare and financial systems and insurance, and in government as well, where the risk of cloud, they think about security and compliance and the potential problem. So there's a large amount of risk aversion. But I think there's also a large amount of desire to innovate. We've been sort of caged up a little bit during the recession and the downturn, and I think people are like a compressed spring. They just want to explode into new growth opportunities, but they want to do it smart. And cloud's the way to do that, because you don't have to spend a lot on CapEx. You can experiment. You can, they talk about fail fast and learn from experience. You can try new things. You can innovate. That's the really exciting thing that I'm talking to my customers about. They're not necessarily even, they want to save money, but that's not necessarily even their primary motivator. Their primary motivator really seems to be agility, innovation, acceleration, these sorts of things.
Well, it's certainly what we're seeing at Cloud Expo. Let me infer from this book that because you're going from virtualization to cloud computing, you are finding, I'm guessing, that the ROI on virtualization was never challenged. Everybody has either experienced it or at least understood it. So you find that a really good foot in the door for saying, well, if you think that was good, you wait to see like the systemic ROI that's going to come from cloud computing.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you start with virtualization and there's the CapEx reduction. You're saving on money on server costs. So we saw, during that time frame, people saving 40, 50% just on server costs. Phenomenal. But then they sort of hit the barrier of their tactical approach. It was a server consolidation thing. It was technology-based, internal, IT cost center stuff. The business didn't really see any result of that except maybe a little bit of extra availability uptime and some cost saving out of IT.
It was invisible to the business.
It was invisible. What happens with cloud is, though, you can build on virtual, because virtual is dynamic, it's efficient use of resources, you can pool resources, these classic parts of the NIST definition of cloud, and you can start to make that a business strategy that starts to do things like going beyond CapEx and doing OpEx reduction, going even beyond our OpEx and getting agility and flexibility. And then you get into real business shareholder value, like being able to deliver new products and services faster, being able to react to the market, to your competitors, to what they're doing, being able to really provide solutions to end customers that are dynamic, on demand, flexible. So you start to become a better provider of services to your customer. That's where virtualization extends beyond the glass house and becomes a business benefit. You mix it with automation, mix it with service management, make it cloudy, and then the business starts to really go, hang on, IT is my strategic asset now, not just a cost center. And that's fundamental difference.
Let me pick your brain, Andy. I mean, you could duck this question if you want. You might just not have this particular knowledge in your hopper. But again, CA with its broad welter of clients can't resist asking you this. Thinking verticals now, we know the verticals in which it's moving very fast. Are there verticals in which you're surprised it's not moving very fast? And I'm particularly interested in healthcare and education.
Yeah. I see some adoption in healthcare, but it's very limited. There's constriction there. Things like HIPAA, electronic medical records. I do see some organizations putting things in the cloud which I wouldn't expect, like electronic medical records. And looking at that, I'm going, why is that odd to me? Because when you think about it, already companies are putting huge amounts of financial data in the cloud. They're already putting, our US government is all in on cloud, and that's my records, my data, that's all going into the cloud. So it shouldn't surprise me when that happens, but I do see healthcare slowing down a bit. Government is obviously really quick. Financial institutions are actually going to the cloud very swiftly. The service providers obviously are just jumping feet first into the cloud. But yeah, there's certainly some sectors. I don't know enough about education to comment, but certainly healthcare.
That's fine.
I'm
really just trying to corroborate something that I'm observing. So I think probably the same is true of education. People would say the same thing. Not quite sure why. Sure, it will get there, but for some reason.
Yeah. And I think a lot of it is when you're dealing with a risk-averse population. Education can be very personal. Where is my educational record? Where's my transcripts? Who has access to that personal information? Yep. That can be very, important privacy implications. So I think in healthcare, obviously, the privacy side, security, compliance, audit, all comes into play very strongly. So that can be a real risk aversion factor. And I think that's probably where it comes in. We're not seeing banks put our private banking data into the cloud yet. They're using internal private cloud. So, where this risk line gets drawn varies from sector to sector, I guess.
What do you suppose, I'm sure we'll speak again in November at 9th Cloud Expo, what do you suppose is going to be the next, what's the next huge statue to fall where people will say, it might be healthcare, where people say, wow, I just never thought, and there it is, it's all cloudified. I mean, government would be like this year's story maybe. Yeah. What will be the next huge thing to tumble, do you think?
I actually think healthcare is ready. Because certainly in the US, there's a lot of push towards electronic medical records. I know I talked to a lot of CIOs and CEOs in healthcare about what their big concerns are. And electronic medical records are a big, big issue. They want to do it. They want to be more effective. They want to provide better patient care. And that's where I think the healthcare industry is going to be able to benefit from cloud. You think when you go from hospital to hospital or doctor to doctor, and if your particular records are available instantly, and your doctor, any healthcare professional can see that, then you're going to get better care.
Yeah, that's what I would think. So maybe that's the prediction that we'll end with, because, Andy, I'm using you now as this sort of guru. I think we'll check him out again in November, see if he was right, that healthcare has taken huge strides to the cloud. Thank you as ever, sir. Good luck with the book. Make sure people go and get it.
Thank you very much.
Where can they get it, by the way? Can they get it from Amazon?
Yeah, they can get this from Amazon.com or from the IT Process Institute, itpi.org.
There you are. Shameless plugs, and deservedly so, for Andi Mann, CA Technologies. Thank you, sir, for joining us in New York, and thank you for watching this out there on the World Wide Web.